Sick. All right, welcome to the podcast. How you doing?
Pretty good. Thanks for having me on here.
Yeah, no worries. Maybe a good place to start would be to just sort of describe who you are and what you do. I don't know. Some people listening are probably already familiar with your stuff, but for those who aren't, maybe a brief introduction would be good.
Cool. Yeah, I'm Green Matter. I'm a dubstep producer and DJ. Been kind of in the scene for since 2018, and I would play and make kind of old school UKF, Circus Records inspired dubstep. Yeah, I feel like that's pretty good sum with me.
Nice. Yeah, I read while preparing for this, I read an interview that you did with Moon something. I can't remember the name of it.
Yeah.
But it said that some of your early experiences were seeing Skrillex and Knife Party and stuff like that. What was the thing that kind of pushed you over the edge, you think, to start making music?
Yeah, so it was basically my first dubstep show was Skrillex versus Knife Party at the First Bank Center, and then since then I was obsessed with dubstep and just going to shows and raves all the time with my siblings, and I was just doing it all throughout high school. Just kind of at the end of high school, I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do with the rest of my life, and it's just kind of wanted to follow a career in electronic music. And one of my friends had helped me download Ableton. From there, I just kind of went all in with it and decided that's what I was going to do and just kind of go down that path.
Nice. How did you find the process of going from not knowing anything to learning Ableton? Did you find how was the learning curve and stuff?
I feel like it was definitely pretty difficult just to figure out how to navigate the program when I first started. And it was almost frustrating because I had so much inspiration and ideas that I wanted to execute. For the first 2 years, I had a really hard time getting those ideas fully alive, just because I was there was definitely a learning curve with just figuring out where everything was and how to even arrange stuff. But after about 2 years, I was definitely getting the hang of it and was finally starting to really get into the creative process. But yeah, definitely pretty challenging at first since I didn't have any schooling and I was pretty much just learning from friends or YouTube videos and stuff.
Yeah, I pretty much had the same experience. When I first started making music, I started on GarageBand, and for some reason, that program seems simple to me now, but at the time it seemed extremely complicated. And then I downloaded Fruity Loops, and that was even, in my opinion, more complicated, and I couldn't figure out how to do anything there. But as soon as I found Ableton, it seemed to just make a lot of sense, I feel because all of the shortcuts are just the exact same shortcuts as if you're writing an email or whatever, Control C is copy, Control V is paste, Control X is cut, Control Z is undo. Whereas I feel a lot of other programs, the shortcuts are what make it crazy complicated for me. I think Fruity Loops to cut a clip into, you have to right click a thing or press your middle mouse button or whatever, which is not very intuitive. I feel Ableton kind of makes it a little bit more intuitive. So how I guess what's your process for making music? Where do you usually start?
Yeah, I usually start with making a bass line, a melody. I usually try to make something that's very catchy because I feel that's just the style of dubstep I like to make. And from there, I'll kind of get some drums going. Sometimes I'm really lazy and I'll just pull drums from my other project just to save some time in the beginning stages. And then I usually try to make an intro, some kind of melody to go over the drop and then pull it into the intro. But definitely it's a struggle. If I start with the drop, I have a really hard time making the intro. And if I start with the intro, I have a hard time with the drop. And I usually sound design during the process, which I feel isn't the most efficient, but that's just how it works out.
Yeah, I have the same kind of problem, to be honest. Every time I send a whip to Ben from Ganja White Knight, who in my opinion is really good at music, he's a good songwriter. every time I send him something, he's like, "Oh, the drop feels detached from the intro," and I never seem to be able to figure out how to make it feel attached. But honestly, I kind of like contrast. Like I kind of like it when an intro is like setting you up for a specific thing, and then the drop is not what you expect. I think that's kind of a cool aspect of music, personally.
Right. I love that
What
too.
you said, like one of the first things you do is try to create like a catchy bass line. What is catchy to you? Like what ticks the boxes for being catchy in your opinion?
Usually if it's like if it almost feels kind of like nostalgic in a way, or if it's like triggering some kind of melody, like literally yesterday on Twitter I was saying like when I write like a really catchy melody, I'm almost like wondering like if I'm copying it from like a different song and I'm just not realizing it, or if it just like has like that kind of feeling. So usually something like that where it almost just seems like this definitely should have already been made. And
Mm,
um, yeah, just kind of nostalgic, super high energy and that kind of stuff.
yeah, like a feeling of familiarity or something like that. I feel
Yeah,
like
exactly.
Aphex Twin's music has that a lot. Like whenever I listen to his stuff, the melodies, I know I've never heard them before, but they always sound familiar for some reason.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, I think that's super cool.
what to you constitutes music? Like
Mm,
where do you draw that? Like what is the thing where if you like removed one thing from it, it would no longer be music? And what do you need to add to something to make it music?
right. I feel like for me, the drums definitely play a big part. Like, for instance, like when I first heard Lil Snake, I was just having a hard time. Like my brain was having a really hard time like processing it. I think it's pretty cool now, and definitely do like a lot of his songs. But I was just like, wow, like this is definitely um, almost not music to me, but
Interesting.
just kind of like I guess pretty like sounds and stuff, like some type of melody and everything. But if it's just like a lot of effects and everything, like uh, doesn't really feel like a song to me. I guess like it doesn't have like a groove that you can move to, and um, I guess like any sort of melody, like that's kind of what makes music to me.
So can just drums be music, or does it need to have more things?
I feel like just drums could definitely be music. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, I've been asking people this question lately, and I've been interested in the responses that I've gotten lately. And one that I thought was a really good response, and also that I've also experienced, was from Seppa, who said that he used to go to warehouse parties back in the day, and he would catch the train to and from the warehouse party. So he'd go to this warehouse party, listen to like drum and bass all night. And then when he would get on the train to go back home, the train noises would sound like drum and bass, which I think is kind of interesting. And I've had that experience before. And so kind of, I guess where I sit on it at the moment is that music really is just, it all occurs in the brain. And so long as like you're trying to contextualize the sounds around you in a musical way, it can almost be anything, it seems.
Right. Yeah, that's a really cool way to think of it, honestly.
Have you ever had that experience where like you've just heard random noises and you're like, oh, it sounds musical?
Yeah, definitely. Especially at the place that I work. I work at like a like trippy art museum, so we have like a ton of like sound effects going on. Um and yeah, I feel like it's also happened when I've been like on psychedelics, or kind of like the psychedelics are wearing off a little bit. I just kind of like just like random noises like around the house and stuff. Um it almost makes you feel like you're going crazy though, because you're like, why am I hearing this right now?
Yeah, it's usually happened to me when I've taken acid or something. And then coming home from a party, as it's wearing off, I'm like, whoa, the train sounds like drum and bass.
Totally.
What is the art museum that you work at?
It's called Meow Wolf.
Oh, I know Meow. You work at the one in Denver?
Yeah.
Sick. What do you do there?
So when I first started, it was almost like an actor kind of that goes with the exhibit. They like kind of drop like hints at the storyline, and we'll give you like secrets, or just kind of genuinely mess with like the guests that come through. Now it's turned into like a very like customer service facing job, where I'll just be kind of directing people here or there, giving them like information and stuff, because they've had a ton of layoffs lately, and they just kind of completely changed the structure of it. So yeah, it's like I've worked there for almost 3 years now, so it just kind of went through like a lot of different phases with it.
And your first job there, you said, was as an actor messing with guests.
Yeah.
So like, what can you explain? Like what you were doing in that role? That sounds kind of crazy and interesting.
Yeah. So you kind of just like dress up in costumes. Like, so there's 4 different worlds that are in the exhibit, and each one has different like citizens. So you have a different outfit, like a costume, and you kind of like play into the character that is in that world, and kind of just like make jokes here and there, possibly depending on like where you're at, like regarding to the storyline, or sometimes people would just be like completely unhinged and messing with them. Like one time a guest told me to pretend like I was kicking one of his friends out because it was his birthday and he just wanted to mess with him. And I did. And it was honestly really funny. But kind of stuff like that. Like in the beginning, it didn't really feel like a job at all. It was just like, do whatever you want. And yeah, it was very fun. Plus, there was like a ton of us that worked there. It was like, I think like a team of like 70 people, and like everybody that they hired were like artists and like really, really cool. Made like some really good friends there.
Damn, that sounds super interesting. Yeah, I've never been to the one in Denver. I've been to the one in Santa Fe multiple times, and I never noticed any actors there. Is that something unique to the Denver one?
I think it was unique to the Las Vegas and Denver one. In Santa Fe, I think they did have the same position that I was in, but it was more like the job that I'm doing now, where they're not as much like acting or like running around the exhibit. In like Santa Fe, I don't know if you saw people like wearing lab coats, like walking around the exhibit, but that's like technically the same position.
Okay.
And then Vegas, they have like a grocery store, so they had like grocery store employees. And they would do the same thing. They would kind of just like pretend like they're a part of that world, and like
Actually,
clue people
I
in.
think I have been to the one in Vegas. It's Area 15, right? Is that the one?
That's the building that it's in. But so Meow Wolf is inside that like building, like establishment, and it's Omega Mart. So if you saw that big Omega Mart sign, that's Meow Wolf there.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, I
Yeah.
have seen that. Yeah, the Meow Wolf like franchise is so fucking cool. It's just I don't know much about it, but I think I remember hearing somebody saying that it was like George R.R. Martin's money that kind of paid for the original one in Santa Fe. Like he just took all of his Game of Thrones money and like gave it to a bunch of artists to build a crazy huge art exhibit. Do you know if that's true?
Yeah, that is. He was like one of the initial investors, I'm pretty sure. And because there's a documentary on it of like how they first got started. So I watched that like a while ago. But yeah, it was like originally a bowling alley, and they just like completely renovated it. That's the Santa Fe location. But yeah, and then from there it just blew up. Like they're making like millions of dollars.
Yeah, I definitely know a lot of people who have been there. Is their main source of income selling tickets for people to come in, or is there something else that they're able to monetize on?
I mean, they make like a lot from their merchandise. Like I'm pretty sure
Mm,
one week we had made like $1 million just for merchandise. But yeah, I know
Jesus,
ticket
that's
sales.
insane.
Yeah, ticket sales are pretty big, but honestly, it's been kind of the ticket sales have been slowing down like crazy. Like that's why they laid off so many of their employees, and I feel like they're just kind of like they'll like cut like all the hourly employees, but there's like these kind of huge positions that they're paying like 250K a year, and they keep all of those. And it's like, I don't know, I can't really understand it. It's gotten very corporate though, which is kind of unfortunate because they started out as just like this small artist collective. But yeah, I feel like recently they've been kind of going against like everything that they stand for, and it's been pretty sad. But yeah.
Yeah, I feel like that's. I actually did a podcast recently with Kyoto that will be out by the time this one's out. where we talked about capitalism and socialism and Marxism and stuff like that. And yeah, I feel like this is just a symptom of capitalism. Like wherever there's money, eventually it goes corporate. I feel like,
Hmm.
yeah, as soon as there's a large amount of money to be made in some area, then someone will see that amount of money being made and be like, oh, I'm going to step in here and take some of that money.
Right. Yeah. Super disappointing, but just kind of happens, you know?
Sorry, go on.
Oh, sorry. I was going to say, I feel like the original founders aren't even really involved in Meow Wolf as much anymore. Like, I sometimes will see them around, and I think they still do work on some of the art projects, but it's being ran by like a whole different group of people now.
Right. Yeah, I see. What are some of your goals for 2024, both in terms of live performances and music releases?
All right. Let's see. Well, I am working on another EP right now. So definitely that's another goal of mine is just to get another EP finished up and hopefully get assigned to a really good label. I already just released on Wakan for the first time, which is cool because that was like one of the big labels that I was trying to get on for a long time. And also might have something coming out with Deadbeats too. It's not like officially signed yet, but we sent them a track and they said that they wanted it. So I'm super excited about that. And yeah, I feel like I just want to get picked up for another tour probably at the end of the year. I haven't been on like a full bus tour yet. And I'm just like wanting to kind of experience doing like 2 months of just like shows like every single weekend. And just like really getting all over the US. Also, probably an international booking. I really want to play in Mexico at some point very soon.
Yeah, Mexico is awesome. I've played there a few times. I also want to do a bus tour. Actually, I haven't. I've done like a week on a bus before with Beats Antique, but I've never done like the whole 2 or 3 months on a bus thing. It sounds like it would be a lot of work, but it also sounds like it would be kind of fun. Uh,
Totally.
yeah, it's just so expensive to do that. Like you need obviously to rent a bus, and then you need to hire like a team of people to like do production every day. Then you need to hire a bus driver, you need to hire like a tour manager, all this kind of stuff. And yeah, I feel like the only way to do it is if you're selling like somewhere in the realm of like 3 to 4 thousand tickets minimum a week,
Right.
which is
Yeah.
quite a lot of tickets to sell, honestly.
Yeah, definitely like the bigger scaled artists are the ones that are doing it, and I could totally understand that. But I feel like I just want to experience it so I can kind of know like where I want to go from here. Like, do I want to be touring constantly, or do I want to be like a little bit more low key, like playing a few shows a month? But yeah,
A few shows a
seems pretty
month,
fun.
that's touring constantly, in my opinion.
Is it?
What is, yeah, I think so. I mean, I'm at the moment I'm on tour for my album and I'm doing anywhere from 3 to 5 shows a month, and in my opinion it feels like I'm on the road constantly. I feel
Right.
like that's still
Yeah.
still a lot of flying. How are you feeling about touring currently?
It's been awesome, honestly. I feel like I finally got it like dialed in to the point where I like know everything that I need to pack, and I know what kind of flights to book to where it's not going to be like super crazy, like draining, and I'll be able to get sleep. Um, and just like how to treat my body when I'm traveling as well. So I've been having like a really fun time recently. Been doing some tour stops with Jeannie and like some
Oop, I
headlining
think that
shows
you
here and
cut
there.
out.
Oh shoot. Okay, we back.
Oh, you're back now.
Okay, cool.
Uh, Sorry, I missed that. You said, well, actually, no, I heard part of it, which brings a question up, which is, what kind of things do you do to treat your body well on the road? Like, what's kind of your routine for keeping shit normal?
Yeah, I try to eat like decently healthy. Like on my rider, I just have like fruit and like almonds and hummus, so I'm not like just kind of feeling very like fatigued from the type of food. And I usually always have like electrolyte like drink mixes packed and emergencies and like Pepto Bismol because I get very nauseous and like ibuprofen. Um, try to get as much sleep as I possibly can. Like sometimes it is very hard to, but all those things usually help out quite a bit. I usually do drink though, which I feel like is something that if I was like, touring like 3 times a week, I would definitely have to cut out or cut down. But yeah, that's kind of how I handle things at the moment.
Yeah, same kind of. I try. Yeah, I like never. I've gotten to a place where I just I'm basically, well, I am sober now. I like don't drink or do any drugs anymore, and pretty much as soon as I'm finished
Awesome.
playing, I'll go back to the hotel and sleep. And even
Sick.
still, from going straight from playing to the hotel and sleep, I feel like the max I usually get when I'm doing shows is like somewhere in the realm of 5 to 6 hours, and it's usually less than that, which is, in my opinion, not enough. I always feel like shit on days where I need like fucking 10 hours of sleep, to be honest. Like
Yeah.
I usually go to bed like when I'm at home at like midnight, and I wake up at 11 a.m. usually, roughly. And to me, that feels like a normal amount of sleep. I know they say it should be 8, but I feel like you really need 10.
Yeah. Well, I know women for sure need 10. I will never stop bringing up that fact that like women need more sleep than men. They say that men can like function on like 5 hours of sleep, but I guess it's different for every person. But yeah, I definitely get
Yeah,
like
I mean,
probably like,
you can function on. Sorry, go on.
I was gonna say I most of the time I get like 5 hours of sleep, which is really not good. Like I need to for sure work on that.
Yeah, I mean, you can function on 5 hours of sleep, but it's not good. It's not like an efficient day. If I get 5 hours of sleep, I'll be like half as productive as I would be if I get 10 or at least 8.
Totally.
What are some of the biggest challenges that you've faced as a woman in the male-dominated electronic music scene, and how have you overcome them?
Yeah. I feel like I've gotten asked this question a few times. I kind of feel like when I first started, I was really struggling with people taking me seriously and like just feeling like an amateur, I guess, and kind of having like that imposter syndrome where I'm just kind of feeling like a newbie in the scene and my production skills really weren't there and kind of like maybe I was getting like opportunities and stuff because I was a woman. I feel like that was probably one of the biggest things is almost just like my internal like dialogue. But definitely like, some sexism here and there, especially like from local people, I guess, like people that aren't really like doing too great or getting like a lot of bookings. I feel like they're usually the ones that are like most upset or just like hateful. But I feel like now I've been pretty confident at where I'm at, and I feel like I have like a lot of good relationships with my peers, and um, usually collaborate and have a lot of male friends in the industry too. So it's definitely gotten better.
Nice. Yeah, I've definitely seen a lot of sexism on just like random Facebook posts and shit where people will like call out a woman playing like a festival or a opening for somebody or whatever, and saying shit like, "Oh, they only got that spot because they're a woman, not because they're like good at producing or anything like that."
You're
Is that the
right.
kind of stuff that you're talking about?
Yeah, kind of along those lines. And I still hear it from time to time, like not even really against me too. Like I kind of hear people will be talking about like other like female DJs, and I'll have to like kind of set them straight and be like, dude, like they've been producing for this many years, and like their music is obviously like successful. So I don't know why you have to hate on them. But yeah, it's kind of unfortunate. And I feel like I've noticed that that's kind of almost like a lot of people are conditioned to kind of think that way from like the way things were like 10 years ago. Like even a lot of women, maybe they grew up in like sexist households and stuff. Cause I've seen it come from women as well. And they'll just be hating on another like woman having success or kind of just doing something creative. Um, like, yeah, that's really usually sad. And I kind of hope they like eventually will shift their perspective a little bit, but you can tell that that's definitely like long-term sexism within like the household growing up or wherever it comes from.
Yeah, I mean, the main logical fallacy that I notice when I see those kind of posts is that anybody is getting booked for how good they are at producing music, because that's just not the case. I don't feel like anybody is getting booked because of how good they are at Ableton. Like, if that were the
Right.
case, I'd be headlining Red Rocks probably, which I'm
Yeah.
not. It's like all it is about, I think, is how entertaining you are. It's the entertainment industry. So if you are good at putting on an entertaining show, I think that's what gets rewarded the most, not necessarily the skills that one has at producing music. And I feel like a lot of those posts that I see, they're like, oh, they're like a worse producer than XYZ man, and therefore they're getting it because they're a woman, not because of their production skills. I feel like no one's getting booked because of their production skills, really.
Yeah, that's totally valid. I feel like it, also with like the kind of new industry standard of like TikTok and having to have like something go viral. Um, I don't really like see any like way to hate on that either, because like that's a whole other like full-time job that you have to do, just like consistently posting and like if you have like the skills to make like these videos that go viral like that, that's awesome, and like you're essentially building your own fan base. So um yeah, I think those people definitely deserve a spot, just as much as like somebody that's completely like, up here with their Ableton skills.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, it's entertainment, right? And if you're good at entertaining people, whether that be live or whether it be through social media, I think people will want to come and see that. Have you had any success with making viral videos?
No, no, not so far. I'm like definitely gonna be trying to focus on my social media a lot more this year, especially now that I just got like a new studio space set up. Because I have some songs coming out that I want to like promo, and I just kind of want to keep testing the waters, because I've seen like people's lives completely change after having like something blow up on TikTok and stuff, and just seems like a really quick way to get where you want to be.
Yeah, it's definitely important these days, the whole social media thing. Though there is some people who somehow manage to circumvent the whole social media thing as well, like Tipper, for example. It's like pretty much never posted on social media and somehow has like one of the biggest careers in electronic music, which I find to be kind of interesting. But I would say he's definitely the exception, not the rule.
Totally. Yeah, I kind of take inspiration from like G Jones too, because I feel like he does definitely post on social media, but it seems like he's like just about his art and like his vision, and he's never had to compromise that. So um yeah, like I kind of wish I could be on that same um I guess just kind of like level, because I definitely am like camera shy and just hate doing like the social media thing. It's just very like mentally draining for me.
Yeah, I agree. Same. Yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're in a weird spot because it's like you're basically trying to like pander to an algorithm that's going to show people what you're basically like making things to try and appease a digital thing to show it to real people. And I feel like quite often uh, it sort of goes against what you should be doing as an artist, which is just whatever you're feeling and what you're vibing with. Uh, and instead, I think like a lot of people are seeing things that blow up online and being like, well, that blew up, so I'm going to do that, like because it seems like there's reward for doing so, which is
Right.
possibly uh, another thing related to capitalism. Hard to say for sure.
Totally. Yeah, I feel like the expectations from artists just keep going like up and up and up, and like we have to have all of these different skills and wear so many hats, but yet it seems like we're getting paid like less and less, and it's like we don't really have the time or money to fund having all of these different skills and having the time to invest. Um, unless you're already touring full time and making like a living off of it. But that's definitely been something that's very frustrating for me, because it's like I know that there's going to be somebody that's putting in all of that effort and trying like 10 times harder than I am, but it's like I feel like it doesn't make it okay to have that kind of standard in the music industry at this point. It's very mentally draining.
Yeah, agreed. Yeah, there's a lot of workaholism going into. I see a lot of people burn out from that too, where they'll just grind extremely hard for 4 or 5 years, and then you just stop hearing from them most likely because they just got over the whole thing. It was too much, which it is. It's a
Totally.
lot. It's a lot of work, and it's a lot of risk too. It's like you're putting in a shitload of work for something that may not be, uh, you may not be compensated for.
Exactly. And you're definitely not going to be compensated for like that, at least the first couple of years, you know. So there's definitely going to be a time period where you're not making any profit off of it. But yeah, I feel like I've definitely got to like that burnout point already without even like touring for years, like heavily. Um, just kind of trying to balance my like part-time jobs, like the social media, like playing shows and making music. And then God forbid, like some crazy thing happens in my personal life, which feels like I'm dealing with like every single year. But yeah, it's definitely kind of had me like reevaluating what I'm doing like a few different times.
True. What's like your solution to burnout?
Kind of trying to just like subtract as much stuff that I can that's causing like that kind of mental turmoil. So like if I'm having like some drama in my life, if there's like a person that's causing some like added stress or like kind of just making my life harder, like sometimes I have to cut that person out, or like if it's a job, like I got to cut back on my hours. Um, got to find just like somewhere where I can cut down on expenses so I'm not having to work as much or turn down shows as well just for the time because um, I've kind of like learned my lesson with not prioritizing my mental health and just trying to like work through it. So it's kind of where I'm at right now.
Yeah, I feel like my career has basically been the same, and it's probably the same for most people, regardless of industry. I feel like I'll do a ton of shit, and then I'll get to a point where I'm like, I'm doing too much shit, and then I'll sort of sit and think like, all right, what are the things that I actually enjoy? What are the things that make me money? And what are the things that I actually just don't care about at all? And then strip it back, and then I'll do it all again. I'll start doing way too much shit again, and then I'll get to that point again. And it's like, I feel like it's constantly just like taking on tasks and then figuring out like what my ideal life looks like based on those tasks that I'm doing, remove all the ones that are not ideal, and then rinse and repeat. I feel like I've gone through that cycle now like 4 or 5 times probably.
Yeah, same, honestly. Yeah, I've kind of another thing that's also been helping with just like the overall like stress and pressure is like prioritizing my social life with my friends and just making sure that I have like a couple times a week where I'm like going out and doing something fun, like being outside, like playing video games or just like something social because I definitely get recharged from that. And I feel like if I'm just like a hermit, like locked in my studio for days on end, that's when my mental health starts to kind of slip a little bit. Yeah.
Interesting. I'm kind of the opposite of that. If I like go out on the weekend and have to see a ton of people and like I'm traveling, I'm flying, all that shit. When I get home, I don't want to leave the house at all. I just want to chill and not go anywhere, and that is kind of what recharges me. So in that case, would you class yourself as an introvert or an extrovert, you think?
I feel kind of like both, but like recently I've definitely been more of an extrovert because just kind of been dealing with like a lot of anxiety and depression, and I've just like really needed like a support system and people around. So like yeah, I've been craving just like spending time with my friends or going out and doing something fun. But yeah, I think I'm an extrovert at the moment.
True. Have you ever taken medication for depression or anxiety?
Yeah, I started for the first time actually about a year ago. I've switched to a couple different ones, but right now I'm on Wellbutrin, which doesn't work as well for my anxiety, but like it's the only one that wasn't like making me super tired. And like actually gives me like kind of motivation to do stuff. So yeah, I think it's helped to an extent. Like right now I feel I almost like don't really feel the effects of it, but I'm not like super depressed like all the time. And like I've also been going through like some pretty crazy stuff lately. So I'm like, I don't know who I would be if I wasn't on these right now. So yeah, I'm definitely trying to get off of them at some point. And recently I'm actually going to be doing ketamine treatments too.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it's like covered by my insurance, and they're like going to ship me some stuff, and I do like a little like monitored kind of dosing session with them. So I'm pretty interested to see how that turns out, because I used to use psychedelics a lot to like help with my mental health, but the last few years it's just been like a little bit too much. Like I feel like my trips are just like too chaotic, and I've just been kind of wanting to try something else that might also ease the anxiety.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I was addicted to ketamine for a long time, and I think partially the reason why was because I was trying to solve some depressed shit. Yeah, I went through I was taking Wellbutrin for a while too. Now I just take Lexapro, and I feel like that is helping quite a lot. It's kind of surprising when I'll ask, like, I've asked a lot of people if they take medication for shit. It's like a lot of fucking people are taking medication these days. It makes me think,
Yeah.
like, is the world like just so fucked up, and like we're like our general habits as a society are just so bad that like everyone has to be medicated to like treat the symptoms of it, which
Yeah.
is possibly true, unfortunately.
Yeah. I totally feel like that could be the case. Like late
Definitely.
stage capitalism hitting hard lately.
Yeah, exactly. So I also read in that other interview that you enjoy playing Zelda or watching psychological thrillers. What other things do you like doing in your free time?
So I really love like theme parks, like big roller coasters. I feel like I might be like an adrenaline addict or something with like the way that I'm like playing shows, and also just like love like things that kind of like scare me and put me on edge. But yeah, like roller coasters. I love going to Six Flags in California. I love the beach and like being by the water, which sucks because I'm in Colorado. But and then recently I've been like playing Black Ops 3 Zombies, which I've gotten like way too good in the last like 2 weeks. It's like kind of embarrassing. I feel like a Mountain Dew bro or something. But yeah, I feel like just playing video games with my friends, going to shows here around Denver too. Like I still enjoy going and seeing like the artists that come through. Let's see. I feel like that's it. I like doing yoga as well, just like any kind of mindfulness exercise that helps with my anxiety quite a bit. But yeah.
Yeah, honestly, exercise is a really solid solution for anxiety. I definitely feel that as well. Every time I do exercise, I'm like, I feel normal now. Interesting.
Right.
I know, but there's a like, and on the opposite end of the spectrum, like when I eat ice cream, I feel like shit. But something like in my mind will be like, don't do exercise, and yes, eat ice cream, even though like I logically know that both things result in either feeling good or feeling like shit. But to do each thing, I don't know. I don't understand why brains are like that.
Right. I would love to know the science behind that though. It's like I feel like it's just like the easiest like solution. Like you get a little dopamine rush.
Like
Yeah,
path of least
definitely.
resistance or something.
Yeah.
It's probably true, yeah. Yeah, I feel like when I was in Denver, there was just too many shows happening, and I couldn't go to all of them. I feel like you can basically go to a show like every night of the week there, like a good show, and it's just too much. I can't go to that many shows. Have you found that you have to like kind of like be very picky and choosy about which ones you go to for that reason?
Yeah, definitely. There was a while where I wasn't going to like any shows just because it was like distracting me like too much. But it's usually if like one of my friends or like a DJ that I'm like inspired by is coming to town, I'll go and see them. or if it's like one of my like top artists like G Jones or Porter Robinson, like I will always go see them when they come to Denver. And then sometimes it's just kind of like a random, like I'm going to go out and check who's playing, what's going on. But yeah, I definitely have missed a lot of shows that I've wanted to go to, and just kind of got to prioritize like having time for my music as well. So yeah, like usually there's something going on at Cervantes on Thursday and I'm like, I can't go this week, y'all. Or yeah, Friday, Saturday always has shows. So definitely got to pick and choose.
Yeah. What's your favorite venue in Colorado?
Mission Ballroom, hands down. Yeah. I just
really?
love the way that, yeah, like it's smaller than Red Rocks, but I just love how like no matter where you are in the venue, it's like a great view and it feels like you always have a decent amount of space. Sound system's really good in there, and it's like just new and super like modern and stuff. So I always have a great time when I go, and I've played there like 3 different times. So it's definitely my favorite right now.
Nice. Yeah, I like Mission. I just played there with Ganja on the weekend. I personally don't think it sounds that good, honestly.
Really?
Yeah, well, I feel like most venues don't sound good, and I feel like it's a problem, like when you get to that size of venue, I feel like it's just almost impossible to make it sound good. There's always just you're going to be fighting against like just shitloads of reverb. I really like the Fillmore. I think the Fillmore you can make the Fillmore sound pretty good. There's a few other, the Black Box sounds really good, but it's really small as well. I feel like the ideal like venue for me is one that's like not much bigger than a studio, because it's like easier to control. Like you can treat it a lot better. Whereas something like the Mission, it's like to treat that room would cost like fucking tens of millions of dollars basically, which I'm sure they probably did do some treatment in there. Yeah, either that or going outside where there is no real reflection points, like Red Rocks, for instance, I think sounds pretty good. True. I feel like Red Rocks is like the low-hanging fruit answer, though. It's like everyone likes Red Rocks. On the table.
Yeah, Red Rocks is definitely like, one of my favorites. I'm just kind of like not a fan of the like sound restrictions now, and also how early it ends, because like I really like to go to a show and like stay there the whole night, be there till like 2 a.m, because it's like I feel like every time I go to Red Rocks and the show's ending, I'm like almost like depressed. I'm like, it did not, like I feel like it just got started, and usually you have to get like the VIP or be in that artist area in order to really get that good sound.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because I like to like feel the bass like in my chest and like throughout my body. So I'm very like picky on where I am in that venue. And I feel like I'm kind of wondering if for Mission, when Merced played there, if he brought like extra sound or something, because when they were doing sound check, I was like on the stage and like the bass was like literally so intense. Like it felt like it was going to like knock me like off my feet. Like I was going to like fall over. I was like, whoa, like I don't know if it was just because it was like a 360 and it was like directly in the middle of the room, but like that's the loudest I've ever heard it before. And I saw that Ravenscoon said that he's going to be bringing like additional sound, like a ton of additional sound. And I was like, I don't know if you need that, dude. Like it was insane in there.
Yeah, it definitely was quite bassy on the stage when I played there with Ganja too, but they did have subs on the stage. Like the booth monitoring was like subs on each side and tops on each side. And I honestly feel like you don't really need the subs on the stage. I feel like it's too much. Like I was also playing off a laptop and I was doing an AV show, which is contingent of the HDMI cable staying plugged in. And I was kind of scared that it would maybe rattle that out, but luckily it did not. Yeah. But yeah, I know what you mean. That stage does vibrate a lot.
Right. Yeah, I hate when it's like knocking everything off of like the table and stuff, but I do like to feel the bass pretty good, so I'll take it.
True. Cool. Well, yeah, I guess like where can people find you?
Yeah, on Instagram, that's like where I'm probably most active, Green Matter Official, and then on SoundCloud and Spotify, it's Green Matter as well. Yeah, I just released a remix of one of Ravenscoon's tunes on Wakan, and I also have another song coming out on June 5th. It's this remix that I did a while back, and it's like one of my favorite songs I've ever made. So definitely stay tuned for that.
Sick. All right. Well, thanks for coming on the podcast. It was nice to chat for a bit.
Yeah, totally. Thanks for having me.